expectations if maybe we have a different conversation about them. All right?
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Can we get some music or something here? Oh,
Right.
Javonte already on it. Here we go. Last chance quarterback. Is this the last chance for Tua Tagovailoa in Miami?
Yeah, this is not only the last chance for him, but it's the last chance for their general manager, Chris Greer, and it feels like the last chance for head coach Mike McDaniels as the Fins head coach. So I look at the Miami Dolphins situation. If they can't get Tua to be first and foremost healthy and in the lineup for all 17 games, and then back to the level of productivity that we saw a couple of years ago when they made the postseason, then all of a sudden now they're going to have some uncomfortable conversations in Miami, moving on, having a new regime, but also pivoting off of a quarterback that they invested a hell of a lot of money into and a top 5 draft pick into once upon a time.
Yeah, there's a lot invested into Tua, and I know he told us not to be concerned about his health anytime he takes the field. I think we are going to be, and I'm sure the organization is going to be, still not winning games against winning teams, and still not winning games in the cold, and still not reaching that next level. So I could totally see a different conversation.
Still not winning games in the playoffs either.
Which is more important than anything that I just said. Bingo. All right, let's keep it moving. This one's interesting. Are we talking about a last chance quarterback situation for one Dak Prescott with the Cowboys?
Last chance for what? Dak ain't going nowhere.
Maybe
Dak has more power than any player in the NFL, save Patrick Mahomes. I mean, where's that going? He's got a $60 million contract, no tag clause, no trade clause. There's nothing that the Dallas Cowboys can do. He's got a $90 million cap hit that the Cowboys are going to have to come to him, hat in hand, asking to restructure in the next couple of weeks. So there is no quarterback, no player that has more power than Dak Prescott in the NFL except Patrick Mahomes. And so when we say last chance, there has to be a consequence on the back end if the player doesn't perform up to the level that everybody is expecting. And there just isn't that consequence in Dallas for Dak Prescott.
Well, you know who's not going to get fired? The general manager. And you know who already got fired? His head coach, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
So what other consequences could there really be? The consequences have already bared out.
The consequences of you giving me $60 million in 2025 and 2026 and 2027.
God, he's making so much money.
Oh, it's so good.
Good for him.
So good.
Good for him. Okay, so Dak's...
Great work if you can find it.
It really is, but it could be in a losing effort, which is not great for a guy that probably really wants things to be different in Dallas. All right, well, this one is more of a conversation, CC. Last year, they went 4-13. He dealt with some injuries. What about Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville? We've talked about potentially the Steelers calling on him. There's been some smoke around him. If he doesn't perform well this season with Liam Cohen, the new head coach, coming in to revitalize his career, could this be the last chance for him?
Yeah, the prince that was promised hasn't lived up to the promise that everybody thought he had when Jacksonville took him number 1 in 2021. Like this is probably turned into one of the more disappointing draft generational talents that we've seen. And here's the thing. It came off the rails quickly. Remember, a few years ago, he won the division, won a playoff game, went into Kansas City and made it a one-possession game in the fourth quarter. We thought that Trevor Lawrence was on the come. And then all of a sudden, that became undone at the end of the 2023 season after an 8-3 start. A lot of injuries plagued him, and then they had this malaise over him this year that led to Doug Peterson eventually getting fired. So, yeah, Trevor Lawrence, there is no more excuse about the money. They took care of the contract extension. Now he's got to go out there and perform like an upper echelon quarterback. And if he doesn't, again, I think it's on the board that Jacksonville starts having conversations about potentially moving Trevor Lawrence.
Duval. Just had to get that.
I mean, listen, they've changed general managers. They've changed head coaches twice already.
Yep.
At some point, you become the common denominator.
Oh, totally. Gosh, with so much hope around him. Okay, this one, CC. Let's go to San Francisco and Brock Purdy. A year removed from a Super Bowl. They're in the basement of the NFC West, 6-11. They're going to have to pay him at some point. Could this be the last stop for Brock Purdy if we don't see the San Francisco 49ers turn things around?
No, because I think Brock Purdy's going to get paid this offseason. I think they're going to make a commitment to him. It'll be in the $50 million a year range. And I think that Kyle Shanahan is content having a quarterback that can execute his offense, even though we knew Kyle Shanahan was looking for a quarterback to be more in the way of a difference maker, doing things off schedule. That's why he took Trey Lance with a top 3 pick. But I think Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. He's somebody that you can certainly win a championship with. But we won't know whether or not that's going to happen until we see what the contract looks like, because depending on what they give Brock Purdy is going to tell us the runway that the San Francisco 49ers have to win the big one.
Let's stay in the NFC West, a guy who has had an inconsistent career. We've seen flashes of what he could be. Of course, there was that famous independent study clause. What about Kyler Murray?
Yeah, this is one of those that I can absolutely see a world where the Arizona Cardinals decide that they're going to move off. Remember, the general manager that's out there now did not draft Kyler Murray, right? The general manager that's out there now did not give him the contract extension. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they proceed, see what happens with Jonathan Gannon. This was a team that made a little bit of noise this year, but they faded down the stretch. And so you want to see what happens and how Kyler Murray, leads this team now that he's got some more weapons, some more playmakers on that offense. Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., of course. So Kyler Murray at this point has got to find a way to get the Arizona Cardinals back in the playoffs and find a way to be considered one of the 10 to 12 best quarterbacks at the position, best quarterbacks in the NFL. Right now, I struggle to see a path to him being able to do that. So I do think this might be his last chance in Arizona in 2025.
If it was, it'd be interesting to see what the market would be for somebody like Kyler Murray if he was.
He's hella talented now.
He is.
Hella talented.
He really is. But between injuries and inconsistent play, I mean, he would be somebody that if it were the end of the road for him there, that would be a spicy conversation.
I will say this. He's got a $45 million cap hit this year. That jumps to $55 million in 2026. So, again, it starts to get really interesting in terms of how.
Out so people can go check it out.
No, that's okay. They don't need to see me.
Okay, amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for talking about social media and then not giving your handle.
Right.
But
on Sports ESPN.
On Sports ESPN. There you go. So I will say, Pat did drop the photo of his spaghetti and the meatballs into the group chat.
Yeah.
And he's posted some suspect food photos in there. This one did look pretty good. Mid. Mid.
What?
Pat,
What do you
reaction?
mean?
Okay.
What is that supposed to mean?
I just said it looked okay.
No, you didn't say that. You said,
I said, man.
How dare you?
What do you mean out there? I'm just saying it was mad. I was underwhelmed, Pat.
He hit you with the map,
I gotta be honest with you. I was underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed by what? It's spaghetti and meatballs. There's not much you could do.
Well, exactly. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. It's underwhelming. It did not look like what Smalls had. I'm sorry, sir. It just didn't.
I did share the photo in the group chat of my meal as well.
Michelle's picture was just cheese. There was no. You couldn't even see the lasagna.
You could see the layers of lasagna on there. Yes, you could.
It was just cheese. And
no,
it wasn't even melted.
You could absolutely see the layers of lasagna. And you saw the pappardelle limon right by its side. You saw it. It was all there in the photo.
I'm a man of the people.
Okay, congratulations, Pat. You want to get a medal for that? You want me to give you a gold star?
Kinda.
How about a thumbs up?
There you go. Thumbs up, buddy. Great job. There you go.
My dinner was better.
There it is. Here's the tweet we're putting up on the television site from @Pat Costello.